Okay. Just begin with the opening mantra. Sahana bhavatu sahanau bhunaktu sah viryam karvavahai tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Okay. So, before we get into chapter 5, I had shared two very long posts on our chapter 4 WhatsApp group. I have a feeling that people haven't gone through it. It's just that I thought Osho had explained it so nicely. It is also a little deep. It is subtle. There is very fine distinctions that ordinary commentaries do not give you, and they just want. So I like that little layer peeling that Osho does. It's literally like peeling a layer, very thin slices. So very quickly we'll go over it. Some of it we have already covered the ideas and the tenets in chapter 4, but let's look at this. So we learned about Nishkam Karma, one of the path that if you are asked what is Krishna telling in Gita, everybody, the whole world knows. I mean, any Indian, because we grow up in that culture, we will say, oh, Nishkam Karma, Bhagwan bolte hain, give up the fruits of action. This, whether you have studied the Gita or not studied the Gita, everybody, every Indian Hindu knows this, isn't it? Even when we hadn't studied the Gita, this is something we know. It's like you grow with it. So what is this thing really, and how should we understand this? Ordinary interpretation is renounce the fruit of action. If you renounce the fruit of action, what will happen? You will get moksha, you will get liberation. So what has happened? We have the fruit of action has become liberation. Many interpreters are now explaining it like that you must give up the fruit of action, and then they do a backdoor entry and say, see, if you renounce the fruit of action, you will get liberation. So what is supposed to have been a desireless thing has become colored with desire. Fruit of action means do this and you will achieve this. This is the meaning of fruit of action. If you do this, you will achieve this. Don't attach yourself to fruit of action. You will achieve liberation. Do not attach yourself to fruit of action. You will achieve liberation. You make this statement and everybody will get attached to this, isn't it? It's a new form of attachment. It's like a negative way. It's like a negative, which becomes positive. It's almost like that. You understand what I mean? Now, Osho says that when interpreters talk like this, and interpret Krishna's statements like this, they are betraying Krishna. This is not what Krishna means. Krishna is not creating a desire in you that if you give up your, if you don't think about fruit of action, then you will get liberation. He is not creating a new desire for liberation in you. It's not another carrot dangling in front of you. That is not what Krishna is doing, but common interpretations, ordinary interpretations, and ordinary to explain to the average mind that is trying to understand Krishna, people talk like this. Ki phal ki chinta mat karo, moksha milega. So when Krishna says a wise man who gives up attachment to the fruit of action is released from the bondage of birth and death, he is not providing an incentive to desireless action. It is not an incentive. An action with an incentive can never be desireless, isn't it? If you are doing an action with a particular incentive, with a motivation in mind, how can it be desireless action? It is not desireless, because what is incentive but a desire for result? Very careful. It's a very thin layer. Peel it, understand this. So Krishna says Krishna's release from bondage is a consequence which will follow from desireless action. It's like a shadow which is simply following. If your action is desireless, simply release from bondage will happen. Krishna is not saying that those who want to be free from the bondage of birth should give up attachment to the fruit of action. And so many times, if you read Gita commentaries, people talk like this. Ordinary commentaries that I'm saying, or this is also the ordinary, is also the understanding of an ordinary average mind, that Krishna is saying, sab bondage, sab तुमको मोक्ष मिल जाएगा, तुम फल की चिंता मत करो, सिर्फ काम करो. कृष्ण यही बोलते हैं. So if he says so, then he's providing a motive, he's contradicting himself. Krishna only says that freedom or liberation is a consequence of desireless action. There is a difference. Freedom or liberation is a consequence of desireless action. It is not the fruit of action. It's not the fruit, okay? It is simply a consequence that follows. It is not its motive. One who desires liberation or freedom can never come to it because desiring is a barrier. Remember in chapter 4 we said कि desire का मतलब ही संसार है. Desire by its very nature is worldly. You cannot say I have a worldly desire and a spiritual desire. No, desire itself is worldly. I explained this in chapter 4. And I also explained how Ramakrishna has said that, okay, desire for God is like the best desire. It's okay. You go ahead with that, which is okay. In some practical terms, it helps because we cannot eradicate desire, but at least on an intellectual level, because we want to understand Krishna, understand him like that. We are not free from desire, so okay, fine, take all your desires and direct it towards God, but be aware of it. So the question is how to work without attachment to result. हमको तो आता ही नहीं है. If there is no motivation, we will not work. We discussed last time, no? If you are told you're going to get 100% exam in the exam, why will you work? In any case, I'm going to get 100%. So what's the point of sitting here and studying and burning midnight oil? I'll not do it. What's the point of it? So can you do an action simply for the fun of it? Simply because it is coming out of you. It is natural. It is spontaneous. You just get up and you feel like cooking something, or you are sitting. You see things are badly arranged or things are a little strewn. You spontaneously want to arrange it, want to make it look beautiful. It's just a spontaneous action. The whole, that there may be joy in it. Or I see flowers and there's joy in just picking up the flowers and arranging them in a particular way. So those are actions which are just coming out of they're spontaneous, they're natural, they're not because, okay, I want that result, that is why I'm doing it. No, simply it's coming out of you. Somebody is falling, you offer your hand so that that person doesn't fall. That's a spontaneous action, not that, oh, what will happen to, it's not motivated by results. So there are two kinds of action Osho samjhate hain. Do something for result in future. This is one kind of action, and this is an action we are all too familiar with. This is how we work. Second is a spontaneous action which is not based on any idea. It springs from what I am, not from what I want to become. It is from what I am. If somebody is falling, I will spontaneously offer my hand ताकि वो बंदा गिरे ना. This is a spontaneous action. It is based on who I am. Correct?
So can I ask a question?
Huh.
Wouldn't like a karma automatically become karma because there is no I there? You're just doing something that.
Correct. A karma and nishkam goes together.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Because I remember this was something a Ramdas and a Ramdas Krishnadas talk where one of his shishyas asked Neem Karoli Baba uh,
Mm-hmm.
about Nishkan Karma, and and Neem Karoli Baba in his style basically just dismissed them. Humans cannot do Nishkan Karma. That is only for God, right? तुम जाके बस राम नाम I mean जपो करके जाके जपो because ये सब अपने बस की बात नहीं, तुम्हारे बस की बात नहीं है. So since then, it's like I've always been allergic to technical terms like that. And
Which is true, no, Vinay? What he's saying is true. हम कर ही नहीं सकते because
नहीं,
हम
because we are so
full
motive
of
driven,
desires.
right?
Because so
Unless you are lost in love and surrendered, when you are in pure love, you are in a love, then you don't exist. You're dissolved, right? And then what you do becomes a karma. which is what Nishkam Karma will also be,
Correct.
because there is no I involved.
Correct. But we are not in that
We
state.
are
We
not
are
doing, yeah.
like ओशो भी तो बोलते हैं कि तुमने maybe you did that action out of no intention that you will get the result or you will get a thank you, but even if that thought rises in you कि अरे उसने मुझे thank you भी नहीं बोला,
Thank you,
उसने
नहीं
मुझे
बोला,
acknowledge नहीं करा, तो वो निष्काम है ही नहीं.
नहीं,
And
it's
we
already.
are we are not in those states of consciousness where we don't think like that. We have too much education, we have too much culture, we have too much social influence to not think like that.
Yeah, the
So
transaction is not complete unless both sides of the
correct,
ledger are balanced.
correct, we are like that. So nishkam karma is a result of an action which comes forth from an enlightened being is a nishkam karma. But you when you become enlightened, only then it happens. So this is not an intellectual process that I will do nishkam karma. No, when you become a devotee, the action that flows from you becomes
Close to
nishkam,
you.
because then you are an instrument and you have to be like a pure devotee. It's like the mystics, the kabir. So we follow that path, slowly we are crumbling our karmas to reach there. It will happen. So
Which is like, all these, we've been through a lot of cool concepts, and definitely very, very important. But one of the things that's always kept in my mind was, I mean, all जो भी हम discuss कर रहे हैं, this is not something that can be attained. These are, it's like, these are not stations where you stop at. You're
correct.
on your path with your chosen sadhana, and you're traveling from wherever you are to where you want to be, and these are all stations that come along the way. They will flow from you. You cannot make a conscious choice to be nishkam or be like this or be like that, or no, they just happen to you. When you are following the path that has been set for you by your guru, and you're traveling down that path with whatever you have, these are stops that you see along the way.
Yes, I
Definitely.
agree with that. Yes, I agree with that. I also think, yes. So in this chapter, like Krishna had in chapter 4, Krishna had described what is an enlightened being like. Correct?
Mhm.
He had explained that. So Nishkam karma is one of like the properties, so to say, of an enlightened being. At the same time, if you remember, if you take the 5 rules of inner engineering, I'm a mother to this world. The moment you remind yourself constantly like that and you consciously function, you are slowly progressing towards that. In moments certain things can even happen. That's why we have some moments of like bliss and we have glimpses. We may not be established in enlightenment, but we get glimpses of the divine, because some of those reminders have helped. Like Sadhguru says, no, all those reminders, I'm a mother to this world, I'm not this body, I'm not even this mind. um, I'm responsible for everything. This moment is that one really works for me. This moment is inevitable. Everything is as it must be. So that brings 100% acceptance to whatever is right now. Nothing can change. And this is called ओशो अभी आगे चैप्टर में बोलेंगे, अभी को जीने की एक skillfulness चाहिए. How to live your now skillfully is in this moment, that this moment is inevitable, everything is as it must be. So just, and Sadhguru and I have, I'm not I did this sporadically, but I need to consciously do it. He says, remind yourself every 1 hour. I have not done that. I do my reminder only before Shambhavi, and otherwise, throughout the day, I'm not reminding myself. He said, put an alarm, remind yourself of the 5 rules of inner engineering every 1 hour. He says, your life will change. I have to explore it. Keep forgetting. This is the problem. No, I keep forgetting. But maybe I should just put an alarm every 1 hour and, just take like a 10-second pause and just remind myself and see what happens. I've never experimented with it, but he's very strong on it. He says every 1 hour you just remind yourself and your life will change. So and don't just remind yourself as words, like feel it consciously. What is it that I'm doing? And that is how we will. I mean, this is the direction that you follow. See, this is a path. It's a journey, and this is how you walk consciously towards it. So it doesn't make your maybe it maybe we are not in Nishkam, but at least our karma is conscious. Once karma is conscious, you don't accumulate more karma. Sadhguru says that.
No, I kind of just occurred to me like, every verse of Gita is like a seed that's being scattered. It may not make sense right now, but hopefully in time it will unfold, it'll
Yes,
germinate, right? So, like, yes, अभी समझ 80% समझ में नहीं आएगा and maybe 40% याद नहीं रहेगा, but hopefully it'll germinate in time and when, it'll happen, right?
I think so. Yeah. So spontaneous action, not based on idea, it springs from what I am, not what I want to become. These are the two kinds of action. Now, normally we believe that everything is happening according to our desires and expectation. I had this desire, so I did this work, and therefore this result happens. We are logically trained. This is how we think. So Osho says, very nice. He says that this is like the story of a crazy woman in a fable he narrates. He said there's this crazy woman who lives in a village, and she's very angry with all the villagers. She said, "You guys have tormented me so much. I'm going to leave you all and I will teach you a lesson because of the way you have treated me." So the villagers are a little surprised and they say, What lesson do you want to teach us? She says, I have this cock. I am going to leave this village. I will take this cock with me and the sun is not going to rise for you. You have treated me with so badly, you will be punished. I will teach you what it was to treat an old woman like this. So she packs up, she takes her cock with her to the next village, and the next day morning when the cock crows, that village has sunrise. She says, see, my cock crows, now only this village will have sunrise. Those people, now they will learn their lesson, they will have no sunrise. Yes, it is true that you know the cock crows when it is sunrise, but that is not the reason for it. But this is how our mind thinks, ki cock a doodle doo hua, so sunrise one. No, because there is sunrise, the cock crows. So our mind becomes like this. हमें लगता है हमने एफर्ट करा, obviously हमने इतनी मेहनत करी, we worked so hard, that is why we got this job, or we got that many marks or whatever, or we were successful. But like, if you are listening to Sadhguru, he says success, whatever you do, you may be, see, there are many people around you, you see, they're very hardworking. There are many people who are very hardworking, who are very focused, बहुत effort करते हैं, everything they put in, and yet success is eluding them. Do you see such people around you? So much effort you put in and still success does not happen. Why? Logically, if I put in effort, success should happen to me, no? Still, I'm not successful. Sadhguru says grace is a very, very important factor in your success. Yes, you have to do the effort. That is part of karma. You have to do something with the body. Once you've come in the world, you must engage the body to wear off the karma. So, effort has to be there, but everything is happening. It's almost like pre planned. You are simply a coordinate that is placed, that you are simply placed on certain coordinates and things are running through you. It's like we are on a traffic light, on a traffic junction, and things are just flowing through you. That is all there is. It's not like you are directing it or you made things happen. So, very, it was a, I will share a personal experience with you. So, in my journey, I have been close to many people. Sometimes, at maybe because of what I studied or what I shared, eh, and when I shared it with somebody, it helped them. Okay, and it helped them so much, and they came back to me and they said it was such a blessing that you shared it, Swati, and whatever, and they give me a lot of credit for it. Then I was thinking, so is it because I shared it with them that their life improved? Suppose I had not shared it with them, they wouldn't have been able to make this decision. This is how a logical mind will think. And then you realize after you study Gita, no, you, because you are committed, say, towards a spiritual path, or there is at least there is this much commitment कि अगर किसी का भला हो सकता है through me, I'm willing to help or I'm willing to support. Simply a yes to life. That much was there. Most of us are like that. We will be very willing to help. If you're in a capacity to help, why will you not help? You'll do it. So there is a yes to life. Then you realize that in any case, they were mapped to move in this direction, in this trajectory. In any case, fulfillment was going to happen to these people. God simply took you up and made you a part of their fulfillment and allowed you to partake of their auspiciousness or their yagna. ये जो अच्छा है ये तो होने ही वाला था. तुम करते या ना करते, मैं उनको इंफॉर्मेशन देती या ना देती, उन it was destined to happen. But you got lucky because of grace that you became a part of a process of well-being that happened to somebody else. So that is what Krishna is also telling Arjun, that Arjun, these people will die, this war will happen. You think if you're going to run away it will not happen? It will happen. They will still it there is no knowing to it, but you have been given an opportunity and a chance to partake of this, this, the war of this magnitude, a dharma war. So that is how, it was very insightful for me, and it helps with uh, not letting ego get too big, or it automatically helps because suddenly you fall in gratitude कि God, you gave me a chance that I could, कि उनकी लाइफ में तो अच्छा होना ही होना था, but you made me a small link in that long chain. Don't ever think that you are the cause of, certain things happening. Like in chapter 2 we studied, I think it was chapter 2, where they said the farmer grows crops. Do you think it's the result of farmers' action? No, the sun cooperates, the rainfall cooperates, so many factors cooperate, and therefore the crop grows. It is not the result of the farmer's action. If the farmer thought, I sow the seeds and the crop grows, no, so many things can go wrong. So there is a link, there is a chain that is happening. And we when we become a part of that, then we are simply becoming a part of that chain. We are a small link, and we should be in gratitude that we had the opportunity कि जब कुछ अच्छा हो रहा था, when something auspicious was happening, we got an opportunity to be part of it, either as an offering or in receiving, whichever way. Maybe we bought something to it, or maybe we took something from it as prasad. But to be part of an auspicious link, it is so beautiful. I mean, that I found that a very nice learning, a uh, very nice to apply in our own life. It just keeps you in a state of gratitude. मतलब you just reflect on it and it immediately puts you in gratitude कि मुझे ये अपॉर्चुनिटी, भगवान ने ये अपॉर्चुनिटी दी कि जा, ये अच्छा तो होने ही वाला है. इट इज नॉट बिकॉज ऑफ मी दैट किसी का भला हुआ. अच्छा तो होने ही वाला. You got involved in it. You became a small link. It's like sometimes, bad things happen, कचड़ा होता है, you can get between crossfires also, no? And it's like it was never your intention, it was never your thing, but still you got caught in nonsense. That is, these are the things. This is where grace happens. And it's nice. And when you're in gratitude, then ego does not accumulate. We are also a little bit of tapas people who like to, work with that fire. So it's nice. It's sort of reinforces gratitude in us. And it was a very, very important learning from me in Bhagavad Gita. All right. So we believe everything. So,
Sorry, just a
hmm,
quick personal example. आपने जो कहा था story, I mean, example with a twist. There have been several times where people have come back to me and said, "Oh, remember a few years ago, you had given me ऐसा सलाह दिया था, ये suggestion दिया था, ऐसा करने बोला था, मैंने ऐसा किया. Thank you so much, you were there." The
hmm,
funny thing is, Swati, मैंने उनका ऐसा suggestion दिया ही नहीं था. I said something, मेरे मुंह से कुछ निकला. They interpreted it something else. They did what they were supposed to, they were going to do anyways, and yet I'm getting credit for that. So how do you? तो मैंने क्या किया? मैंने कुछ नहीं किया. I just happened to be at that point, that junction, doing whatever, talking my mouth off like I usually do. But they did what they were going to do anyways, right? So how do you explain that? मतलब मैंने
that
आपको
is
कहा, मैंने आपको कहा, okay, that doesn't sound like something I would tell you.
This is called as the gift of God. He wants you to be
He
part of
wants
the.
that person to be guided in a certain direction, and that person was going that direction anyways without me. We just somehow lines got crossed and we found ourselves at that coordinate. That's about it.
But it is a benefit. But do you see what it does for you? That you became part of a link, of an auspicious link of events. So you also got some prasad of it. Do you get what I'm saying? Maybe you. I'm not saying you did or did not do,
Right.
but God gave you an opportunity to become part of something which was very beautiful. You could also have been part of something which was very inauspicious, no?
Yeah, I was mostly confused and मैं like क्या बात कर रहा है ये? But it's happened few times for me to take notice. ये ऐसे कैसे हो रहा है? You know, but it happens. It happens. You're just there, there.
It's grace. It's grace. It is grace that, God allows you to be part of someone else's well being. And you may sometimes be working as a messenger. You may sometimes have worked, you may have been given any role. Just like in growing a crop, there is rain, sunshine, earth, farmers effort, there is fertilizer, there is scarecrow, there is so many things. So you may be given one role in that whole yagna that is happening. That is why we say life is a yagna, and you have an opportunity to participate in the yagna. God gave you an opportunity to participate in a yagna. बहुत बहुत बड़ी घटना है ओशो, इसको इसको बोलते हैं बड़ी घटना. दिस इज व्हाट भगवान का कृपा माननी चाहिए इसके लिए. So okay, so that is understood. Very nice. The future comes on its own. It is already on the way. Don't think. So the action which is motivated, which is based on desire, is based on expectation. It is based on something will happen in the future. But Osho says future will come on its own. It is already on the way. It is almost like predestined. It is like that. It's difficult to it's difficult. We will say that we are victims. No, we are not victims. We still have to work. We still have to do the effort. Uh, Keep action total. When they say keep action total, it means without any expectation. Keeping action total means being extremely attentive to whatever is being done. It is not about how nicely I did it or how beautiful or how tasty my food is. Okay, maybe today my food is not tasty, but I did it with absolute attention. If despite that sometimes it may go wrong, but if you did it with absolute attention, then that is the way to be. Sometimes you tried so hard to make a drawing, you kept trying, you put your absolute attention, still it didn't come out the way you wanted. But the quality of your attention is what decides whether your karma is sakam or nishkam. And that's why they say, attention, uh, lack of attention is the greatest sin. It's like being inattentive. That is the problem. So, sorry. Action lies in the present, and what is happening? And that which is done inattentively cannot be, sorry, my thing is like, cannot be deep and total. Okay. So, all right. So this is one aspect I wanted to touch from the thing. Then Osho was asked a question about japa yagna, gyan yagna, and ajapa. And Krishna has spoken so much about yagna in chapter 4. So he's asked about the difference between the two. What is the difference between a japa and a ajapa yagna? So we'll just go through this. See, what is a yagna? Yagna is that. So one of the things about yagna is fire. Fire is the most important aspect of a yagna. So when fire was discovered in ancient times, it was man's way of celebrating at the discovery of fire. They would dance around it. They would offer whatever was the best they had to fire, because fire is what protected them. Fire is what it changed the way man lived. Earlier, he had to hide in caves, but once fire was discovered, it would even keep animals away. It protected him, it created food. A lot of things changed with fire. So, fire is something that they celebrated. And primitive man offered whatever was was dearest to him, his dance, his joy, his pleasures, even his cow. If that sacrifice was because it is so dear to me, I will offer it to you. That which is best, I will offer to you. Fire is the only thing which was working against gravity. Everything else was getting pulled down by gravity, but fire was going upwards. And, it inspired man to see how he could also move upwards like fire against the pull of gravity. So, this fire symbolized that upward journey for man. Now, by Krishna's time, fire had come out of the extraordinary into the ordinary realm. It was Krishna's society was sophisticated society, very civilized. So now fire was not like such a unique thing. It had become very commonplace. So Krishna grafted a new word on the old stem of yagna, and he called it Gyan Yagna, or the ritual of knowledge. So yagna to wo hai hi, because fire hai, but Krishna attached Gyan to it. That is how he calls it Gyan Yagna. And we spoke so much about Gyan Yagna. When you that the yagna is happening inside you. And what are you offering? And in everything that we do, all actions, like I just shared, there is a link. So what are you offering to other people? Are you in a state of yagna? So we'll just go through some of these points. Now, as soon as the fuel turns into ashes, the fire is extinguished. Correct? So, this aspect of fire is deeply representative of knowledge, which first burns the dross of ignorance and then burns itself. It means to say that after one's ignorance is dispelled, the ego also disappears. So Krishna talks about another kind of yagna, which is japa yagna, or the ritual of chanting. The secret of japa is also like that. That first, japa is a word, correct? It's a mantra. So we use that mantra to burn all the thoughts. What are thoughts? A string of words. That is what thoughts are, no? Just a string of words to which we attach meaning. So you use a mantra to start diffusing those string of words, and that is japa yagna. But and what remains? But there comes a time for japa to become a yagna. There should be a time when the mantra itself disappears. Words disappear, and then the mantra also disappears. Just like in any yagna, first the fire, then the fuel itself disappears. Ashes हो जाता है, फिर वो ignition सब खत्म हो जाता है. So the ego also disappears in a jnana yagna. Like that, in a japa yagna, the words disappear first because of the japa or the mantra, and then the mantra itself also disappears. Only then it's a yagna. It's a wordless chanting. That is why it is called japa. And for this reason, it is also called a yagna, because it works like fire. It starts diffusing, it starts breaking down all these patterns. Now, Krishna talks about the path of knowledge. Now, for most people, we spoke about knowledge means scholarship, doctrines, information. But if someone mistakes knowledgeability for knowledge, he is on a wrong path. He's going astray. Now he cannot attain to truth, to knowledge, even if he crams his head full of all the scriptures there are in the world. And remember, ignorance is not as harmful as false knowledge. We spoke false knowledge, mithya gyan, is very dangerous, because then you don't know, but you think you know. So now you're not even open to listening or to new knowledge. So this is pseudo knowledge is like ashes. After the fire has been extinguished, there are ashes which are left. This is called pseudo knowledge. So when you work with knowledgeability, information, set of doctrines or scholarship, that is called just collecting the ashes. This is how Osho explains it. So very nicely, Osho says chanting or japa is like a thorn. You use it first to stop all the other thoughts which are running in your head, to stop the string of words. But after that, you throw that thorn also. After that, you throw the thorn, you don't keep it. See, it's like this. So there is one thorn in your head, which is like the string of thoughts. So you use your mantra, which is another thorn, to remove that thorn. एक thorn लगा है तुम्हारे हाथ में, you will use another thorn to take it out, and then you throw both the thorns. Thorns are not useful by themselves, correct? That is what he's explaining. So he gives this very nice story from Buddha's life. Oh no, Buddha used to relate this story. So there were 8 men, very scholarly, learned men. So these learned men came to a bank of a river and they had to cross. So they found a boat and they really had to cross the river. It was very important for them. And once they found the boat, they were very, very grateful that, oh, at least I found the boat, we can cross the river. So they crossed the river and very grateful that, they reached where they wanted to reach. Now they said, but here's the boat. This is the boat that helped us cross the river. How can we leave the boat here? We are so grateful to this boat. Now, being grateful has become a doctrine inside someone's head based on knowledge and information that somebody is something which helps you, you should be grateful to it. Now, they have got it into their head that we should be grateful to it. So, these 8 men pick up the boat and they start carrying it on their head and they walk around in the village. So the villagers go and ask them, why are you carrying this boat on the head? So, so those 8 men say, see, we are so grateful. That is why we are carrying this boat on our head. This is the boat that helped us cross. And how can, this is how we express our gratitude. Do you see the foolishness of this? Do you see the foolishness of what they're doing? Right? So, first, there is a thorn, there is a problem of crossing the river. You find a boat, which is like another thorn to cross the river, but now you've done it, it's achieved. Drop both. It's not needed. That is what he's explaining. Then the yagna which rises in you is ajapa yagna. So japa can be used with awareness, Osho says. That is a means which helps you to be free of thoughts. But if you take japa to be an end in itself, then Osho says it will become like, an infant's pacifier. Every time you have thoughts, you put the pacifier in your mouth. So it is not really helping you, but it is creating an enormous dependence. And those of you who studied Yoga Sutras, in Kaivalya Pada, Maharishi Patanjali says that, even through herbs, even through mantra, you can get glimpses of states of samadhi, but he does not recommend that. Tapas, herbs, mantra. Maharishi Patanjali does not say that you should come, that these are the methods or tools for samadhi, because even though they can give you glimpses of it. LSD can give you glimpses of it, but that's not true samadhi because it does not create any mutation or transformation inside you. These create dependency. Whatever creates dependence cannot take you to samadhi. Sadhguru, if you have heard him, and he used to tell us that we never recommend mantra as a way for liberation. And Sadhguru says this, we also use mantra, like Om chanting. Sadhguru humko bolte hain 20 minutes Om chanting karo. He said mantra is only used to create a supportive environment for you. And that's it, a supportive inner environment, a supportive inner climate. But mantra as in a big way is not used at Isha. And the way Sadhguru is totally aligned to, Yoga Sutras, is not used as a way for liberation. So ajapa, this is what is called as ajapa. You start with jap, but don't stay with it like that. It is a very, very advanced stage, okay? What Osho is talking here is like really the highest and the ultimate, but it is good to be aware of the ultimate, because then you know where your journey, where are you moving really, So japa is also like fire. First, it burns the fuel, then it burns itself, and it is meaningful only when it burns itself. We can use a word, a mantra, a seed as a means to cast away other words from our minds, but ultimately we have to throw the mantra itself. So one must remain a witness to the chanting, then it is a yagna. One who is ready to burn his ego, his I, who is ready to totally efface himself, is ready for yagna. He alone is deserving of yagna, who is capable of making an offering of himself into the fire of knowledge. Offer yourself, burn yourself only. All right. So this is what I wanted to share before I moved into. So can we have everybody else on video? Nidhi is here. I saw Monica. She's disappeared again. Okay. All right. So let's move into chapter 5 of Bhagavad Gita. It is called, is everybody able to see it in the proper mode? Yeah? Okay.
Yes,
Thanks.
Shwati.
Thanks. All right. So this is called as Karma Sannyas Yoga, chapter 5. I think uh, Paramhans Yogananda says it's like the householder's yoga. He has referred to that in this chapter. What is the householder's yoga? Now, see, I had gone through Swami Sarvapriyananda's commentary, and I just want to share this framework with you. This is again from an intellectual perspective, but many of us like this. So, what is Vedanta based on? Where does Vedanta come from? All this knowledge of Vedanta is based on three major texts: Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita, and Brahma Sutras. These three put together constitute Vedanta. See, I also don't know much, but this is like just a very sort of a sketchy background because I mean there are some people here who are interested. I was interested in just knowing what gets classified where. That's why I have put this. So everybody has been hearing Advaita. Swami Sarvapriyananda is really follows Advaita. It comes to us from Adi Shankaracharya. What is the Advaita philosophy? So within Vedanta also they have three schools. So Vedanta is not just Advaita. Within Vedanta they have Advaita, Dvaita, and Vishishtadvaita. These are the three schools within Vedanta. Swami Sarvapriyananda belongs to the Advaita school. Dvaita school is that which is very big on bhakti, which has clear distinction that there are two. There is God and there is you, the soul. So Dvaita is really Madhvacharya. I don't know much about it, but that is the key proponent of Dvaita is Madhvacharya, just like the key proponent of Advaita is Adi Shankaracharya. Vishisht Advaita is a combination of the two in some way, and the key proponent of Vishisht Advaita is Ramanujacharya. And beautiful, some of his commentaries, like even when Swami Sarvapriyananda speaks, while he really speaks, he himself is a hardcore Advaitin, he does bring in commentaries and some flavors from Ramanujacharya, and he shares that. Very nice. I quite like some of Ramanujacharya's perspectives on which Swami Sarvapriyananda himself has shared in Bhagavad Gita commentaries. So, what is Advaita? It's a non-dualistic uh, system. It's a non-dualistic school. Okay, so what does non-dualism mean? It means there is only one truth, that Jagat is mithya, uh, only Brahma Satyam. All this Jagat is mithya, all this universe, all this is Maya. There is only one truth. And that Jivatma, you, the soul, and the Paramatma, it's all one. Everything is one. That is how they see it. What is Dvaita? Dvaita is really the bhakti broadly is bhakti. Okay, it says universe is not mithya, it is real. This is just for you to know, even Yoga Sutra is a dualistic school. It's a Sankhya school, it's a dualistic school which says that the world is real. It says that, okay, the world is also real, and you both are truths, you also and the world also. So universe is not mithya, it's real. It's like how Sadhguru explains, no, it is a dream, but the dream is real. Advaita says everything is a dream. Yoga Sutra says, yes, we know that it is dream, but the dream is real. Same thing in Dvaita school. They say this world is real because it is the creation of Narayan himself. Vishnu himself has created this world, so this world is real. Vishisht Advaita is what has classified as qualified non-dualism, where they say that universe is not mithya, it is real. Okay, they also say that, but they are a combination of dualistic and non-dualistic. Let me just go through this. So in Advaita they say jiva. When you say jiva, do you understand? Jiva means individual soul. You, individual soul, is a jiva. Universe is universe, and Narayan is God, deity, the highest principle. Okay, just calling it as God. So Advaita says jiva, universe, Narayan, all are one. Everything is one. They are the same. Okay, Dvaita says Jiva is separate, Narayan is separate. Narayan is higher, and the Jiva, the individual soul, surrenders to Narayan. Okay, that is how the individual soul will go to Vaikuntha when it drops its body. That is the Dvaita school. Vishisht Advaita says Jiva, universe, Narayan, there are three. There are three principles, but once one comes through evolution, you will realize, to start with, They are three. You see, Jiva is separate, universe is separate, Narayan is separate. Jiva can have a relationship with the other two. But as you grow in this relationship, as you evolve, it says you will come into the realization it's Advaita. It is non-dual. It is no, there's no duality. There are no two. Everything is one. When you say everything is one, it is like I am God. This realization happens inside you that I am God. Dvaita, they will think that such a statement is demonic where you say I am God. But an Advaitan can come into that realization. Aham Brahmasmi. Okay, so this is how they are different. Just a very sketchy overview. Okay, now in Advaita, they say all souls can hope for and achieve the state of blissful liberation. Dvaita says some souls are eternally doomed and damned. They actually say that if you're not going to be God oriented, you're doomed and you're damned. That is their philosophy. And Vishishta Advaita says all souls can hope for and achieve the state of blissful liberation. They're same. So just to go, because we are all Yoga Sutra followers, what is yoga? Yoga is a dualistic system, right? There is Purusha and there is Prakriti. Okay. Consciousness versus body and mind. So body and mind belongs to Prakriti, but then there is pure consciousness, which is Purusha. How to come into this realization of truth? Through the practice of Ashtanga Yoga. What is the next school? So yoga is one school that you can follow. Advaita Vedanta is another school or another system. We all need some system to follow to be able to realize the ultimate. Advaita says, has three. So in yoga, these are the three aspects. And Advaita, they use these three principles: karma, upasana, and gyan. Gyan is what ultimately takes you to moksha. So they say first you have to do karma to purify your mind. They say karma only purifies mind. Now this is a very interesting thing, you know. Advaitans and Adi Shankaracharya is very clear. He says karma yoga only purifies your mind. But Krishna has actually said karma yoga can also take you to liberation. If you go into Nishkam Karma, it takes you into liberation. And somewhere Swami Sarvapriyananda mentions in his commentary that this statement of Krishna puts Adi Shankaracharya into great difficulty. He's very cute, he's very humorous about it. And he says, no, so Adi Shankaracharya says, you do Karma Yoga plus Gyan, then you will come into liberation. And he's tried to sort of, again, you know, playing with words to say that. But Adi Shankaracharya is like that. He says, no, Karma Yoga will not take you to Gyan. It only purifies your mind. It does nothing else. Then once you purify, so first your, you know, if your mind is not purified, upasana cannot happen because you're very scattered. So purify your mind. That helps with focus of the scattered mind. Then upasana is possible. So upasana means what? Sitting close. So upasana is their form of meditation. Like in Yoga Sutras, we do meditation and we do dhyan. For them, it is upasana. It is sitting close to the texts like Upanishad to listen to it. What is their method in Advaita? Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasan. Shravana means suno. Pehle suno. Listen to it. Hear it. Then you do manana on it. You think about it. You contemplate on it. For them, when Advaitans say meditation, what they mean is not the yoga meditation of Maharishi Patanjali like we do, or the Buddhist meditation. What they mean is contemplation. So Advaitans use the word contemplation for meditation. So they say upasana, and then Gyan will happen through Nididhyasan, which is application of what you have learned. Once you start using this new lens that you have created for yourself, and you start seeing the world through this lens and start internalizing what you have learned, you will come into Gyan. This is Advaita Vedanta approach. Vishisht Advaita says, yes, Karma Yoga to purify, then Gyan will happen. But Vishisht Advaita says highest is bhakti. Advaita Vedanta is not big on bhakti. They just say upasana, you know, just nearness. Upasana is just that nearness to Upanishads, to those texts. They're very knowledge oriented. Dvaita very clearly says you will come into liberation only through grace of God. Vishisht Advaita is also very high on bhakti. They also say bhakti is ultimate. Ramanujacharya is like that. Okay. So these are just schools, just a broad overview, just so that you know that Vedanta does not just mean Advaita. There are other schools also. bhakti is stronger in other schools than in Advaita. Even though in Advaita, at least Swami Sarvapriyananda will say, "Ha, puja bhi karo, ye bhi karo," but uh, but when Adi Shankaracharya did it, he did it as an expression of his gratitude, as an expression of his enlightenment. Okay. Mm, okay. First shloka of chapter 5. Arjun said, O Sri Krishna, you praised karma sannyas, the path of renunciation of all actions. You also advised to do karma yoga, work with devotion. Please tell me decisively which of the two is more beneficial. We are also like Arjun. Ki Krishna, when you know everything, why are you telling me do this, do that? This is also good, that is also good. You just decide, you tell me what to do, and I will do. But Krishna keeps, throwing these things at him so that Arjun has to go through Soch Vichar. We don't like to do Soch Vichar, isn't it? Who will do all this Soch Vichar? If you know, you simply tell me and I will follow. Very nice point, Osho says. Krishna जानते हैं, उन्होंने तुमको बता दिया and you will follow. This is a very shallow form of Shraddha, where you don't want to use your own mind, where you don't want to, it's like a tamasic approach. You don't want to go through the thinking and jostle with your own emotions, with your own thought patterns to come into a conclusion. But a guru will never give you a conclusion. Krishna is that kind of guru. He will not give him a conclusion. He will keep showing him one path after the other path. So many paths he will show. But he will tell Arjun, you make the decision. I will not make the decision. Arjun actually wants Krishna to make the decision and tell him, tell me it's okay to run away from the war, I'll just run away. He just wants his validation. That's all he wants. Now, this is Swami Mukundananda says this is the fifth of Arjun's 16 questions in Bhagavad Gita. Okay. Now, uh, Karma Sannyas Karma Yoga, the path of renunciation, Karma Sannyas. Now, we've spoken so much about Rag and Dvesh. Uh, there is, before we spoke of it, because this word sannyas exists, and in our mind we think of sannyas as a monastic tradition. ये तो monks के लिए होता है. Why are we getting into all this sannyas stuff? We are all householders. So, very nice point Swami Sarvapriyananda brings. He says, see, the man who is being spoken to in Bhagavad Gita is a householder, Arjun. The man who is giving this Bhagavad Gita Gyan to Arjun is also a householder, Krishna. So don't think all this sannyas is monk stuff, okay? This is all very applicable to householders. The people who are involved here, the two people who are involved here are both householders, okay? It's very nice. It's a very important point when people say, "Oh, this is ये तो सब monks के लिए होता." नहीं, this is very much applicable to householders. So, uh, so Arjun does not want to make sankalp. He wants Krishna to give him all the answers. And uh, so there's a little talk that, Osho has given on this thing about rag and dvesh, about sannyas. So sannyas is really like a midpoint. Normally, what we do is we are either running towards something or we are running away from something. So then that is not sannyas. That is like, just running away. It's like raga dvesha. You're caught up in raga dvesh. Sannyas is something like a midpoint. Yeah, neither does it repel you, neither does it attract you. Okay, it's a point that he has made. So I just wanted to bring that. Um, Now, Arjun's mind is very confused, and a mind that is confused, even if it is given a clear decision and Krishna gives him some says something to him, the moment it comes to him, it will become knotted. Have you seen this in your interactions with people? That when people are angry or people are very knotted in their own mind, even if you speak the most sensible thing, even if you say something which is in their highest interest, they will misunderstand you, they will distort what you are saying and say, oh, this is why you're saying. They will question your motivation and intention. Have you seen this in your relationships? And this happens because they are in a convoluted state. So when a person's mind is in a convoluted state, don't say anything, because whatever you say to it, it will get distorted. It's like, a distorted mirror. Well, those mirrors which show your face, so body, all those, it creates a distortion of whatever it appears in front of him. Their mind becomes those kind of mirrors. It's lost its balance. There's no point talking. So even if the most beautiful thing is kept in front of them, it will become distorted. They will see it only as ugly. So Arjun is confused, and he is not going to get any answers like this with Krishna. Even if Krishna gives him an answer or says something, it will get distorted. So he has to go and correct the distortions within himself. He has to come to that point of balance. Right now, he's in a state where he will stick the meanings which is hidden in his consciousness. This is what we do when we are confused. Whatever meaning is hidden in our consciousness, we will attach it to whatever comes in front of us. So one has to recognize one's knots, and we don't want to do that. Most people don't want to do that. We just want to continue deceiving ourselves. So these are some things that. So who is a renunciant? Sri Ravi Shankar says, if a person acts without being feverish about the fruit of action, not dependent on the outcome of action, that person is a real renunciant. He's a yogi. A yogi is not the one who has just dropped everything and is sitting in the Himalayas. Okay, act without being feverish. Who is a householder? Very nice. Paramhans Yogananda in his commentary, he says, just because you are a householder, don't think that your job is only to, uh, keep enjoying the pleasures of the world and accumulating wealth. This is not the job of the householder. Be very clear what a householder can do. So Paramhans Yogananda says, you may be involved in the struggle to uh, this is not what a householder does. Okay, dominate over others to nourish their egos with worldly fame and admiration. Don't think that this is what a householder is all about. He says, not householder is not what he owns or what he does, but what he does inwardly. This is being a householder is not an excuse to run after worldly pleasures. Very important. You can be a householder and you can be a yogi. This chapter is called Karma Sannyas Yoga. So, how do you come into that? It's an inner renunciation that is being spoken of, an action that leads to inner freedom. So, Paramhans Yogananda bolte hain that, there may be many people who call themselves householders because they are not monks, but they don't have houses, they don't have husbands or wives or whatever. And then there are saints who are actually yogis. They may even have houses, they may have, a family to look after. All these rishis who lived in a house, they're still householders. The difference is that even though they are householders, there is no possessiveness to that. There is no sense of possessiveness, and that is why, they are householder yogis. Path of duty should never be a slide into mental dullness. Okay, now Swami Mukundananda gives this beautiful example about, karma sannyas. Like, look at Lakshman, so he quotes this from Ramayana that, see, Lakshman was also married. Huh? He also had a duty as a son, as a prince, but he wants to give up all that and go with Ram. So what should we say? That he is an escapist? He ran away from his household responsibilities? No, he goes and tells Ram, you are my master, father, mother, friend, and everything. I will only fulfill my duty towards you with all my might. So please do not tell me about any of my bodily duties. And Swami Mukundananda says that when you choose a higher thing to be devoted towards, like God, then the other responsibilities fall away. That is why Lakshman is not an escapist. I just thought that example was nice and good to bring in. Okay. Second, the Supreme Lord said both the path of karma sannyas, renunciation of action, and karma yoga leads to the supreme goal. But karma yoga is superior to karma sannyas. What is karma sannyas? Karma sannyas meaning sab kaam chhod do, householder kaam chhod do, go sit in the Himalayas. This is karma sannyas. I will not do any work. I will not work with my body. Running away and cutting away and sitting in the Himalayas is not karma sannyas. Many escapists will do that, but once they go, they cannot even sit. There is so much restlessness in them, there is so much rajas in them, they cannot even sit and meditate. And they think that they are in karma sannyas. No, they are just lazy. And that has what has happened. Osho says we have had a lot of pseudo karma sannyasis in our country because of all this. They don't want to do any work, and they become a burden for the householders also, because then they will come and beg for food. And in our culture it's like koi sannyasi aaya, so you give them. What is genuine karma sannyas? Karma sannyas uh, is almost like a consequence that happens inside you as a result of a certain understanding that happens. So, a man who comes into karma sannyas is somebody who is in a state of very high awareness, and he has realized so many lifetimes I have come, so many things I have done. क्या हुआ? कुछ बचा उससे? कुछ भी नहीं हुआ. So many lifetimes I had so many thoughts, I did so many actions, again I died, again I was reborn. And what happened to all that karma? Nothing. It's like a line drawn on water, everything finished. He comes into this understanding कि कर्म से कुछ भी फलित नहीं होता है. Osho bolte he comes into this understanding that nothing comes out of karma. It is useless. So, what is the point of engaging in karma? His understanding becomes so sharp and so clear that he drops action altogether and he simply sits. But such a man is at such a peak of understanding that there is no rajas. He's not escaping. It is simply an understanding. So, it is not that वो कर्म छोड़ता है, कर्म छूट जाता है. It drops off. It is not something that he gives up. It is not something that he runs away from. It is not an akarshan or vikarshan. It is not a result of raga dvesh that I don't like to do karma, so I am going to sit down and not do karma. It's not that. It is just that he has come into that point of midpoint between raga dvesh and understood that it's pointless. And from that state, karma sannyas, it takes birth in him. It's literally like that. So, what is the point of activity? A realization that activity is pointless and we are still in a dream state. He says it's like, I'm living one dream after another dream and after another dream, and it's all just a dream. What's the point of it? This deep understanding, very keen understanding, happens to him. So, he says it's Osho bolte hain, it's like a line drawn on water. This is his understanding. And then he comes to understand कि जो मिट ही जाता है, उस लकीर को खींचो ही क्यों? It will not stay in any case. This is the perspective of a karma sannyasi. Basically, so he says so many births have happened and still his mind has not learnt anything. So what's the point? So, important thing to remember here is that karma sannyas is not tyag of karma, but it is an awareness that karma ka jagat is a dreamland. And when that understanding happens, karma drops off. So, Krishna says one path is karma sannyas, the second path is karma yoga. What is the path of karma yoga? Karma yoga is the path of nishkam karma. That is where you just simply become an instrument. That is karma yoga. And between the two, Krishna is making a statement, but karma yoga is superior to karma sannyas. Osho warns us. This statement is being made to Arjun for the kind of person Arjun is. If you are the kind that Arjun is, this statement will apply to you. But suppose a Buddha was reading it, it may not apply to him. For him, this statement Osho warns that don't think that Krishna is saying, it's not a sweeping statement that karma yoga is superior to karma sannyas. It is only superior for Arjun because he is a kshatriya. He cannot drop karma. Action is his nature. But there are people who are not like that. Action is not their nature. They are naturally meditative. A Buddha would be like that. A Mahavir would be like that. For them, karma yoga may not be superior to karma sannyas. Karma sannyas may be superior. They can go Adishank. They can be like that. Okay, so where that's something which Osho nails on, hammers on that in his commentary. So, karma yoga. What is karma yoga? Now see, karma sannyas focuses on activity. It says ki activity itself is useless. It's like your mind is not learning anything. It's like one life from another life. We are still living in a dream. So, what's the point of all this activity? It just disappears. It's just a dream. So, he has come into this realization that all this is Maya. It's useless. So the focus in karma sannyas is on activity, karma itself, action itself, based on which karma sannyas is formed. What is nishkam karma? It focuses on the result of the activity. It is concerned with the result of activity. So nishkam karma is saying, don't worry about the result of activity. But that is its principle. These are the principles. Karma sannyas principle is activity. Nishkam karma principle is result of the activity. So Nishkam Karma says, let the play go on. Play to win if you want to. If you lose, then it is simply prasad. It's okay. And Osho says that this is also possible only when you realize that karma only brings dukkha. I don't know if you want to go into it, we can discuss, but Yoga Sutra, we discussed that you know, life is dukkham. Buddha also says that. So, phal ko pa lena bhi nishphalta hai. ओशो बोलते हैं ये. So you can be, Swami Sarvapriyananda says, so you can be engaged in a worldly life, in a householder's life, but it's just a different perspective. That is why the perspective of Leela, see yourself simply as participating in a yagna. Don't think that you are doing. See everything as an opportunity to participate in a yagna that Krishna has started. He is giving you directions. Say this to this person, sit down, do this work. Just see that everything is just coming to you as an instruction for him, and engage in this yagna, in this play, till this life finishes, till this body runs out. It will wear off. We've got another whatever 50, 60 years, it will wear off. The body will wear off. Till then, it is time to just play and participate in this yagna. Like that. Then it's nishkam. Don't worry about what is happening. So, see, this is a slide which I took from when I was doing classes with Manoj. What makes karma into karma yoga? So Manoj said there are four things, there are four qualifiers for it. First is the power to wield choice. I should have a choice. Then, karma can turn into karma yoga. So this is about conscious choice. If you're not making conscious choice, then the karma remains. Whatever you do it consciously with awareness. So first is the power to wield choice, which is really connected with being conscious of what you're doing, what choices you're making. Second is accept the result as prasad. Whatever happens, first of all, result should not be a focus. But obviously, we are living in this life. We will look at what is happening to me. Just see it as this was Krishna's prasad. Accept everything as prasad. Do not obsess over the results. And fourth, engage your buddhi. Whatever you're doing it as an offering. You're participating in a yagna. Then that is what qualifies action as karma yoga. Otherwise, your action is just karma, it's not yoga. Karma yoga is superior to karma sannyas. I mentioned this already. Guidance is for Arjun. It depends upon your type, Osho says. Where did the entire effort of life go? That's the point. A karma sannyas. See, why is Krishna saying this to Arjun? Arjun's sort of karma is very dense. Okay. If he takes his bow and arrow, what is happening? Okay. If he takes his bow and arrow and shoots somebody, someone will die. So it's a definite karma. It's a dense karma. The consequences are strong. So Arjun needs this. So the karma yoga is something which works for Arjun. He's very action oriented. Osho says that there is somebody like Tansen. Okay, his karma is not very big. It's not very dense. He's simply, playing his instrument. He's creating waves, and the waves disappear. Where did they disappear? Where did all your effort go? Arjun can see his effort and the results of his effort. But, a musician, an artist, he's playing that instrument and then they just go become thin air. So, what happened to all the karma? What is the point of all this? You just keep simply doing this. What's the point? So, Osho bolte hain, you can speak about karma sannyas to a person like this because his karma is not dense. It's like air, it just disappears. So, that's how he has made that distinction. Am I making sense? Yeah, no.
So yeah, I'm just trying, struggling a little bit to comprehend all the terms, and I think part of that is because of the way the way I interpret karma is the Isha school, latent impressions, and action, and karma is a way to exhaust those latent impressions that you've accumulated over time. So karma karna hai, right?
तो वो
So
कर्म योगा हो गया. Okay,
karma
to
yoga ho gaya.
exhaust the latent impressions, it's karma yoga. Karma, so okay, let's look at it like this. Latent impressions, we have to dissolve this. Two methods to it. Karma sannyas, drop all karma. It will all, and simply sit in dhyan. Do nothing. It will dissolve like Buddha did. Just meditate, do nothing. Karma sannyas. Most of us are not capable of that. Okay. The other path is karma yoga, which is what Krishna is telling. Karma yoga means nishkam karma path.
And I always, again, this is just trying to recalibrate what I thought I knew, but I always thought sannyas was a natural progression of karma yoga. So karma sannyas will
Okay,
only happen if you've been a karma yogi at some point, and then you get to that sannyas point, right? You
correct,
just don't say,
correct.
I'm going to be a karma sannyasi, I'm going to run away. It's not going to work out. You have to work through your burden of karma, exhaust it, and then you become a sannyasi.
That is, so here's the thing. What you're saying is right. So on a householder's path, I will do this and I will come into a state of inner renunciation. But my path was that of karma yoga. I continue to engage in karma even after I come into this inner sannyas. I continue to engage in karma even after I come into the state of sannyas. People like Sri Sri Ravi Shankar, people like Sadhguru. There are people like there may be there are people like Ramana Maharshi. कर्म संन्यास वो सिर्फ माउंटेन टॉप पे बैठे. ही इज नॉट एंगेज्ड इन एनी कर्मा. Not engaged in karma is karma sannyas. It's a little bit of karma sannyas here when they are saying is more a monk sort of life where you don't engage in karma. And it is, uh, more suitable for people whose karma is not dense. They are probably, they will understand. It's a different kind of people. Osho has made that distinction that Arjun ke liye karma yoga is superior than karma sannyas. He cannot go and sit on the mountain top. Like Buddha came to that realization, not just what's the point of wealth and winning the kingdom, what's the point of this at all? What is the point even if I get it? Arjun's question was, what is the point of war and winning the war by killing my own people? Buddha's question is not killing my own people. He's saying, what is the point of war itself? It's useless. He is a karma sannyas kind of a mindset, personality. So for him, karma sannyas may be superior to karma yoga, but for Arjun, karma yoga is superior to karma sannyas. Does that make sense?
It does. I mean, I guess the other way of looking at it is, with the Buddha, maybe he had already exhausted his baggage the previous time. So in this incarnation, he didn't really have a whole lot to work through.
No, it's
So
personality also. It is personality
personality
also.
also, okay.
Big personality difference between Arjuna and Buddha. No, we spoke of this in chapter 1. Like Buddha had a problem about shooting, about killing, like even as a child. He was a very compassionate human being. He was just like that. Arjun didn't have a problem with killing. He could shoot. He didn't have any problem with it. That was his nature. That was he's a kshatriya. He is a kshatriya right down to his bone. So he didn't have a problem of killing and shooting. Now his problem of killing and shooting happened because my own people. Buddha had a problem with killing and shooting itself. Inside himself, he was really a Brahmin.
I didn't
So
know that. I thought he was also a Kshatriya, born to a,
he was born as Kshatriya,
but he wasn't.
but he was not Kshatriya in his bones and blood. He was a Brahmin in his bone and blood. He was about knowledge, gyan, and compassion, and his personality was different. So for him, karma sannyas made sense. He could simply sit. Arjun with his rajas cannot sit. So for him, karma yoga is better because focus is on activity. Sorry, focus is on the results of action, and his results are very definite.
Makes sense. Thank you.
Okay, okay.
So, Swati, I had a follow-up question on this. So, does that mean that the path to moksha can be karma yoga or karma sannyas, or do you have to go through karma yoga and then karma sannyas before
No.
you do that?
In this particular shloka, karma yoga or karma sannyas both can take you towards liberation. It depends upon your type, whether you choose the path of nishkam karma or simply sitting on mountaintop. Most of the people today, and Osho says 99% of the people cannot do karma sannyas. Karma sannyas is like Sankhya. You know, chapter 2 of Bhagavad Gita. Karma sannyas is Sankhya. Simply sit down, do nothing. That path. We are not like that. We are so rajasic. So for most of us, karma yoga applies, but because he's giving this commentary, Osho clarifies that remember when Krishna says that for karma yoga is superior, he is saying this only to Arjun. If there was somebody else, like a Mahavir or a Buddha, his guidance would be different. So that is why I just wanted to highlight that, because we should not make it like our understanding ki, see, Krishna said karma yoga is better than karma sannyas, so karma sannyas is a second path. No, it's not like that. It depends upon you, who is Krishna talking to. So karma yoga and karma sannyas. Karma yoga means still engaged in activity. Karma sannyas means realizes that activity itself is not fulfilling. Karma yoga approaches with respect to results, correct? Basically, don't worry about the results. Just enjoy the activity. Just be total and attentive to your activity. Karma sannyas approach is with respect to karma. What's the point of action itself? Action itself is pointless. Karma yoga is focusing on nishkam, and karma sannyas is awareness that activity will not bring liberation. It's a gyan path. Karma sannyas is a gyan, sankhya path. Okay. Inaction versus non-action. What did I want to say here? I think I've already mentioned this, how many people who take this sannyas, who become monks, it's actually they just want to escape and they may be lazy. So you may say that I'm a meditating hermit, but inside you're not able to sit, you're full of thoughts. Then you're not in karma sannyas really. You have not done the adequate preparation that is needed to go into karma sannyas, or to go and sit on the mountaintop. You have to change your personality. So I've already touched on that. Now, Swami Mukundananda speaks. So, see, when we speak of karma sannyas, this person who goes into karma sannyas is not going towards it because of a certain attraction, like people who want to escape worldly responsibility. Nor are they going into it because they are averse to worldly response, or because they are or they are very attracted by the idea of karma sannyas. It is not a result of raga dvesha. It is simply a midpoint between raga dvesha, where an understanding flowers within them. So Swami Mukundananda says there are two kind of vairags. There is a Falgu vairagya, which is an escapist attitude, where there is motivation by the desire to run away from difficulties. And when such persons encounter difficulties on the spiritual path, they become detached from there as well. And then they will come back. So they can't hold it because you ran away from it. It was like a dvesha. Yukta Vairagya is where people see the whole world as the energy of God. They do not see what they possess as belonging to them and do not wish to enjoy it for themselves. Instead, they are motivated by the desire to serve God with whatever He has given to them. Yukta Vairagya is stable and undeterred by difficulties. Okay, so these are just some, just what Swami Mukundananda has mentioned on this particular shloka. I just wanted to highlight that. Then the third shloka, the karma yogis who neither desire nor hate anything should be considered always as renowned. So that is yukta vairagya. Free from all dualities, they are easily liberated from the bonds of material energy. So rag and dvesha is the same energy. It is like the same quantum of energy. One is running to this side, other one is running away from it. But you're not balanced. You're getting pulled in one of the other two directions. You're not in a state of sama, not in a midpoint. One has to find that midpoint. See, desire means raga. Akanksha hai to rag hai. What is the result of that? It creates dvesha. You know what? You thought you will get this, you will get this job, you will be happy, you will marry this person, but nothing really fulfills you totally. So desire is we are always motivated by desire, but there is no fulfillment. So this constant movement, what was earlier attractive becomes unattractive now. So Osho goes on talking about this. We've discussed it many times, so I'm not getting into it. The friend becomes the enemy. It's the same energy. It's the quantum of energy is the same. First, you were attracted by this person. Now you're repulsed by this person. So it is the same quantum of energy. Somewhere one has to find this midpoint between them. All attractions turn into aversions after some time. So if I'm walking towards you, then it's raga. If I'm walking away from you, then it is dvesha. So someone who is a tyagi, when you say that मैंने सब कर्म का त्याग कर दिया means you left it like consciously. It was not a flowering inside you. It's like this palagu vairagya which he says, you're running away from it. So मैंने त्याग कर दिया. Tyag is not something which is karma sannyas, because it's not a midpoint. You're running away from something. So just clarifying some of these terms. Does it make sense? Am I making sense? Okay. All right. So, towards this, Osho gives a very nice story to explain to you what is true sannyas and what is running away, what is Falagu Vairagya. So, Osho gives the story of Vivekananda. Vivekananda was about, this was still in his early days when he had been initiated into sannyas by Ramakrishna. And still he was immature in those days, very early days. So to go to his ashram, he had to go from his house to pass a road where there was a um, there were the prostitutes used to live there. So he said, I'm a sannyasi, how can I pass by this road? So he would take a longer route to go to the ashram. That was his understanding of a sannyasi in those early days. Then when he was to travel to US, the king of Jaipur, and Vivekananda makes notes of this in his autobiography, in his diaries, the king of Jaipur had, held wanted to hold a farewell for him. So he invited him over. So Vivekananda went, and because he's a king, he thinks, the best kind of farewell or party is, they will invite a singer. She's a prostitute singer. She will come, she will sing and entertain, and that's how it happened. So when Vivekananda found out that this was a prostitute who was going to sing in the farewell that is being conducted for him, he refused to come out of his room. He says, no, I'm a sannyasi. I'm not going to go in front of a prostitute. This is not my thing. So the king felt very bad, and but this lady was a very well-known singer. She had whatever reputation. He didn't want to hurt her also. So that lady also, that prostitute also, felt very, very bad that Vivekananda would not even come and sit just because she was singing. So she sang a bhajan from Surdas. And in that bhajan, there is a line which says that, कि पारस का जो पारस का पत्थर लोहे के टुकड़े को सोना बना देता है. It's like a philosopher's stone. So I may be, just a loha ka tukda. So this is how she sings to Vivekananda. Like he hears that, and कि, I may be just that piece of iron, but you are Paras, you are a saint. By your touch, I could have been purified, and you yourself don't want to come in front of me. And it touched Vivekananda very deeply. And he said, what I did not learn from my guru that day, this prostitute taught me. He came out. He came out of his room and he sat there. And he said, after that day, I never had any disturbance in my system about, prostitute, women, or a sannyasi cannot be in presence of a woman. There was no raga, there was no dvesha. He did not feel the need to run away from a woman or to not be in the presence of a woman like that. So there was a flowering of sannyas that happened in him. You don't become a sannyasi simply because you have been initiated into it, which is what had happened to him earlier. You take an initiation, you follow something, but at some point this flowering happens, which is what happened. So, which is what happened for him. So this is karma sannyas. Okay, it's like that sannyas blossoms within. Okay, makes sense. Okay. Can activity be unmotivated? We are talking about nishkam karma. We don't know about unmotivated activity. If I'm not going to get my salary at the end of the month, why should I come and slog for you? Isn't it? If I'm not, we work because there is motivation. I'm getting married because I think life will be more fun, will be more beautiful. It'll be nice to share it with someone. So, all the arranged marriages, all those newspaper ads, everything, matrimonials go on in India, isn't it? Because it is motivated by a certain result. So, is unmotivated action even possible? So, the Osho says that even Western psychologists believe that activity cannot be unmotivated, that you have to have a desire to be able to function or to be able to act. Osho has made these statements. He says that Western psychologists have always studied diseases to come into understanding of whatever health, but they study diseases to come in understanding of health. The point is they have never looked at health, and by health he means they have not looked at a Buddha or they have not looked at a Mahavir to understand what health really is. That is the highest of health, and one needs to look at it, which is the Eastern civilization has been. I mean, we are lucky we've seen all that. So he says the reason why we act is not because we like something or dislike something. What creates motivation? Like and dislike, isn't it? Motivation is created because of like and dislike. So he says karma, action, is not a result of like and dislike. You think like that, but it is not. How does karma rise? He says action is simply an expression of energy inside. It's like the flowers are moving, the clouds are moving. There's the flowers are dancing in the breeze. The clouds are moving. How is this action happening? Simply because of a certain energy. There is the elements are moving, the energy is moving, and so action is sprouting. You can see action happening. He said it is the same with us. You see a child, he's also acting, he's jumping, he's dancing, he may be rolling on the floor. He has any motivation? No, but that is also karma, no? Where is it coming from rag or dvesh? No, it is simply coming because there's an inner urja, there's an inner energy inside him which is creating the manifestation of action inside action. So uh, he says it is your choice to take your energy and hang it on the nail of raga or hang it on the nail of dvesha. But action per se is not is not motivated by raga dvesha. We think like that. There is a little, I have to go a little deeper in this. Somebody, uh, Okay, so this is what he says. Does this much make sense? Can I go further? Okay, that is how he explains. He says unmotivated action is possible. See, people like Buddha, uh, see, Sadhguru, somebody had asked Sadhguru, what inspires you? He says, no, nothing inspires me. I simply do what needs to be done. That's all. An enlightened being talks like this. He's not motivated by results to act in a certain way. He sees that certain thing needs to be done, so he simply engages in that action.
So, Swati, last time, I mean, I'm sorry I did not start from the beginning of the course of the class today, but last to last class, you spoke about a karta, that we are, and I thought that was the only way I could explain good karma from me. And a karta in this context, when you say I'm acting but without motivation, I interpret it is that I am aware of my motivation. It is not jealousy, it's not anger, it's none of the negative emotion that's motivating me. And if it is not, then because I can't imagine to be doing action without motivation. So I better go back to the Patanjali Sutra, Ishwar Pranidhanadva, is that my motivation is still coming from my awareness that it is coming from an intent that is not coming because I want to be better than him or better than her, or I'm jealous or I'm angry, and but it is coming from a place that I desire to go in that direction. As long as I'm doing that, my karma is not becoming sticky karma. Does that
Okay, a
in
few things I'll
context?
clarify.
Okay.
Okay, a few things I'll clarify. First thing, a karta has is not connected with good action. Okay, a karta is not connected with punya. A karta means you are enlightened. If there is a karta inside, you are enlightened. If there is no doer inside, if there is no I inside, you are enlightened. Then you are simply an instrument through which God is flowing, through which you are that, through which you are a yantra through which God is flowing. So, whatever action you are doing is simply happening through you. It is not happening by your mind or intellect or conscious choice. No, जो हो रहा है वो ईश्वर करवा रहे हैं तो हो रहा है. It's like in other words, it's like what Sadhguru says, whatever needs to be done is happening through me. It's like that. This is a karta where there is no doer. It is not like I decide to do. This is the first thing. Okay, that is akarta. Um, then you said about Ishwar Pranidhana. If I am doing an action, whatever action I'm doing, in my mind, I am simply doing it as in a joyful way. I am participating in that action as a celebration of the divine. Beautiful. If you're doing that, it's fine. Uh, if you have that as a motivation, then karta is still present, because then who is doing? I am doing. So karta is still present. All right. Most of us are in that state. It's fine. But at least we are doing our actions attentively, in celebration, consciously. When we do our actions consciously, joyfully, in total awareness and with absolute attention, we do not build karma. So what you said, the sticky karma does not happen so much. Ahamkar does not aggrandize. Oh, glue thick nahi hogi. True, correct. But that is not a karta. Karta still exists. I still exist, because who is motivated? I am motivated. So, unmotivated action is a result or a flowering or a consequence that happens to the one in whom ego has dissolved, so to say. So, to say that unmotivated action is not possible is not right. Western psychology does not understand that, but it is possible. We've seen people like this in our culture.
Swati, what about when we are just indulging in play, not for exercise or competition, not to win, just playing with my dog or playing with the baby? Would that be an example of unmotivated action?
Yes, I think so. Yes. So see, we may not. This is my understanding. We may not be established in akarta bhav, but we all get glimpses of it. isn't it? It's like how we may not be enlightened, but we all get glimpses of the divine. We all get our connection with the divine. We are not established in it at every moment. The idea is to become established. I would think that yes, because Osho bhi bolte that, see, in the morning you just went out for a walk, you were just enjoying the breeze. There was no real motivation in it. It was an action by itself, just for its own sake, and you were in celebration of that. But so there is a nishkamata to it. There is no result, there is no motivation, there is no focus on what am I going to get out of this. You're not going to get anything out of it. You're just going for just for its own sake. Okay, but you're still total. Wherever you are total, that wherever you are total and you are attentive, 100% attentive, that action becomes like nishkam, and your attention is not on result. Your attention is never in the future. Any action where your mind is on the future, what am I going to get out of it, that action is always sakam. Nishkam is that action where you have found the skill within yourself to make the now, to engage in the now very skillfully, to be totally present, to be totally attentive. Then that becomes nishkam, because what happens in the future is irrelevant to you when you are engaged in that action. It's like, go back to that umbrella example. That's the best example. Okay, umbrella fell, I picked it up. Spontaneous action, also an action, picking up something and giving, spontaneous action. If the thought also does not come to me that the person did not say thank you to me, it remains nishkam. But if the thought came to me that, oh, he didn't even acknowledge me, that means even though we didn't intend it to be sakam, the seeds in us exist. And what should you do when you notice something like this? Osho says, never become sad. Just notice ki theek hai, I saw this in myself, and move on. But see yourself. Do everything with that awareness. Does that make sense? Does that clarify? Nishkam, sakam is that which is done with fruits of action in mind, so it's future oriented. Akarta means that the doer is not present inside. There is no I. And that is, I think it's a mutation which happens. Slowly it will happen as we keep staying conscious, as awareness increases, our consciousness will also rise. Some point we will reach that. Right now we may get a few glimpses, certain things will happen, but it's a path. It's a path that we have been given. We can use that as a reminder to act consciously, and that's okay. So, there was a very interesting question Osho was asked. He said that Osho se pucha gaya that, Osho, when I'm running my business, I am, working in the office, I have to look at profits. There is sakam karma. How am I going to balance this with nishkam karma? Does this occur to you? It's very, very nice, because yes, I have to look at profits, I have to look at the results. Then how to balance sakam and nishkam? Very sweet, very nicely Osho explained. Okay, and made some notes here. So Osho says we are, we're all very greedy and we are very clever people. We want the sakam world, we want to enjoy the fruits of action, but we also want that grandeur of nishkam. We want both. We are like this. So we want to keep thinking of the result and still enjoy the action. And we also want nishkam, that no, I don't want to care about the results of the action. These two things, Osho says, don't go together. He says when nishkam happens, there is no need to balance the sakam with nishkam. He says, how can you find a balance within them? He says, one, they don't exist together. They cannot. He says it's like this, that when you see from far away, you see the rope as a snake. But when you get closer, you see that it is a rope. Now you're telling me, how am I going to balance rope and snake? You can't balance. Either you will see the rope or you will see the snake. The two cannot be balanced. Once you come into that state of nishkam, sakam होगा ही नहीं. ओशो बोलते हैं जिसे निष्काम कर्म का रस आ गया. Once you have started deriving that juice of nishkam karma, sakam karma cannot stand. It will drop. By itself, it will drop. You don't have to balance anything. Then even your work will become your play. Even your business, your office work will become your play. It will just become like that. If you cultivate this, it's maybe it's a little bit of cultivation and then it happens. So he says that is why the person who says I see God in the world, हर कण कण में मुझे भगवान दिखाई देता है, ओशो बोलते हैं this is wrong. The one who says I don't see the world at all, I only see God, that is right. So the one who is so he says all this is a limitation of language, but this is how it is. This is how he explains that sakam will dissolve. When nishkam rises, sakam khada ho hi nahi sakta. So, okay, that is what I wanted to explain. I really like the way he explained it. And he says, it's like, it's like a blind person who is using a cane and he always gropes to find out where he's going. So he asks, when I get eyes, how will I use my walking stick? Can you tell me how to use the walking stick when I get my eyes? You don't need the walking stick. Groping is not necessary anymore. It's like that. Nishkam mein eyes mil jati hai. You are at that state. Now nothing is necessary. Sakam will drop off. So there is no need to balance. One second, let me go back. All right. Okay. Running a business, okay, this is what I wanted to cover. Once Nishkam karma has been tasted, all activity will become like that. Blind man, I told you our problem is that we don't want to let go the thrill of Sakam, but we want the joy of Nishkam. Okay, we covered all this. Now, liberation through karma. I don't know why I wrote Advaita. I don't know. Process will become fun. I think we've discussed this. The process itself becomes fun. So there is no sakam karma then which stays. And like Kabir did not stop weaving, no? And he says very interestingly, Osho says it is like his weaving was in terms of the technique or whatever, it was not like 100%. There were mistakes in his weaving also. Yet all his work, whatever came out of his karma is still nishkam. So very important understanding here. Many people confuse like doing karma properly as that the results should be very good. Matlab if the the carpet that has been woven has any mistake, that means the karma was not good or it was not done correctly. It's not like that. What matters is your involvement in it. You can never control the result. It's like how I said, you may have followed very attentively, tried to create a dish, but it still didn't taste very nice. But that does not make that your karma was not complete or you were not fully engaged or it was not karma yoga. It will still be karma. Karma yoga is karma yoga when there is 100% attention and involvement. That is it. You're not future oriented. It's just the whole process of doing that is just so much fun. It's like for many of us, our painting or our music may be something like that. It's just done for the fun of it, just to see the brush moving on that, just to see that pencil lines drawing or the mandala. That itself is fun. It's not so much result oriented. I'm sure through Krishna Connect, many of you have experienced that. The process itself is fun. Kya farak padta hai? The singing itself is fun. I may not be the best singer, is not whatever, but the process was fun. So then that is karma yoga. Okay. So this slide, I'm not sure why I put this. Okay. Only the ignorant speak of Sankhya, renunciation of actions or karma sannyas, and karma yoga as different. Those who are truly learned say that by applying ourselves to any of these paths, we can achieve the results of both. Osho is very funny here. He says, when Krishna says to Arjuna, karma sannyas, karma yoga is superior to karma sannyas. Osho says Krishna must have seen that glint in Arjun's eyes. Now he starts thinking he's superior, that doing this is better. He must have seen, so he has to level this in Arjun. He's watching him very carefully. So he says, no, such people are moodha. They are fools if they think that they are different. They are both the same. It depends upon the personality. So going on. कर्म का त्याग versus कर्म में आकांक्षा का त्याग will give you the same result. Karma ka tyag is not tyag as in running away from it. It is karma apne aap, it falls off from you. That is karma sannyas. So maybe I should have reworded it. Karma tyag is not that I am running away from karma, but karma has fallen away, so karma sannyas rises. So karma sannyas, and while in action, not being concerned with the fruits of action, give the same results. That's why he's telling Arjun, you don't need to run to the mountaintop and give up all this action. Your karma is here. You will find your liberation here. And yeah, that's it. I think there's nothing more. Sankhya yoga is equal to Gyan yoga, because that's only the ignorant speak of Sankhya. Which is renunciation. That's why I was telling you, Karma Sannyas is the same as chapter 2, Sankhya Yoga, which is the highest. Remember when Krishna is talking to Arjun, he begins with the highest. Karma Sannyas is the highest. If you can simply sit, nothing to do. But most of us cannot do it. And this is householders. And I told you how, Adi Shankaracharya will say, see here, Krishna is saying Karma Yoga and Sankhya. Karma sannyas will give you the same result. Adi Shankaracharya says Karma Yoga cannot give you moksha, liberation. Karma Yoga only purifies the mind. And this is where I was telling you, Swami Sarvapriyananda, is very funny. He says, so Adi Shankaracharya will find a way around what Krishna says. And he will say, no, it is Karma Yoga plus Gyan. Without Gyan, there is nothing that is happening. He will not agree with Krishna there. Almost like, they're playing with words. But that is the Advaita path. Advaita will say, Gyan alone. Karma Yoga, they say, only purifies your mind. But here, very clearly, Krishna has said, Karma Yoga and Karma Sannyas can take you to the same result. So this is a little bit of difference. This is where, when you look at what Krishna is saying from the lens of your own school, it's a little pigeonholed. Advaita will say, sirf gyan se hi phalit hota hai. So they will not agree with this, Krishna, and Adi Shankaracharya has a problem with it. Swami Sarvapriyananda mentions it, that, he gets into trouble. I'll share that little video where he explains this. You can listen to it. And he says it has to be Karma Yoga plus Gyan, only then liberation. We'll continue from the 5th shloka next time. If you have anything to share or say. Makes sense? Too many words, confusing?
थोड़ा subtle है Swati. It's a little, all the concepts are a little subtle. थोड़ा time लगेगा. It's, I struggled with.
Okay, let's go through it. Let's see this. First thing is karma. Just keep throwing words and let's make sure we all understand it. Karma. Karma is what? Baggage. This body itself is karma. Correct? This is a baggage that we are carrying. We live from birth to death to sort of efface this. It will to get rid of it, to crumble this karma. If you have no karma, you cannot have any body. Correct? This is our basic understanding. And what is karma? Yes, all those impressions from past lifetimes, etc., etc., etc. Everything. The 4 kinds of karma we spoke of. Prarabdha karma. Prarabdha karma is that which is going to take results this lifetime for sure. It can be auspicious or inauspicious, but prarabdha is something you will experience. Then there is sanchita karma, which is the whole warehouse of your karma from all lifetimes. correct? And then there is Kriyaman Karma, which you have a choice. This lifetime, you have a choice. Some portion of that Sanchita Karma, the arrows that you have in your quiver, which you are going to shoot out, and when they will have their results, you don't know, whether in this lifetime or in the future. Okay, this is those three: Sanchita Karma, Kriyaman Karma, and the Prarabdha Karma. Okay, then we spoke of the idea of a karta. So there is a karta and a karta. Who is a karta? A karta is a person whose ego is very strong and he thinks I'm doing everything. It's like the story. So Ratna was not here in the beginning of the class. Monica was not here. We shared a very nice, there's a very nice story Osho gives. This old woman, very quickly, okay? There's an old woman in a village and she says that you people have tormented me and, given me so much grief. I am going to teach you a lesson. This is my cock. I'm going to go away with my cock from this village to another village, and now you know you will
I read
really learn
about
your
it.
lesson.
I
Yeah,
read about it.
yeah. So the sun will never rise for you. So she goes into the other village, the cock crows and the sun rises there, and she says, see, now those idiots will realize what it means to have treated me like this. The sun will not rise for them. So we think our actions are creating things. Our actions are not creating anything. You are simply here. Things are flowing through you. Your job is to participate in it with a yes or a no. If you participate in it with a yes, with joyousness, you will slowly come into akarta, because then you're a yes to life. You're receptive. Then you are in God's embrace. Slowly you're going there. If you are always with no, 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 I have to do it, you are simply accumulating more karma, more lifetimes. You will have to go through multiple rebirths, okay? Because you're going with such a no to life, such displeasure, such disengagement. When you keep saying no, how can you be attentive, involved or engaged in what you're doing? It's like somehow do it and be done with it, isn't it? So then that karta bhav is very strong. It will aggrandize ego. And you may be a yes to life. It may still be a karta, that, okay, I am engaging in it, fine. But if you engage in actions very consciously, then ego does not accumulate, more karma does not accumulate. Okay, if you act very consciously with 100% involvement and just be with the process and not so much with the result, then it will not accumulate. A karta is a mutation. Akarta does not mean, akarta literally, if you say, means do nothing. So I can be sitting here and doing nothing. On the outward, you may see, oh, I'm such an akarta. No, I'm not akarta, because inside me, there are thousands of thoughts running. A true akarta is that when you close your eyes, the world shuts down. That is the purpose of the eyelids. If you shut your eyelids, the world shuts down. What happens to us? We shut our eyelids and a new world starts inside us. So when this new world is starting inside you, you're not in akarta. That is why many of us cannot do karma sannyas. We cannot be like a Buddha where we can simply sit, close our eyes, and the world shuts down. No, we can't do that. For many of us, we are like Arjun, we need the karma yoga path. So akarta is a mutation that happens in us. Keep that bhav, and where you are no more the doer. God simply flows through you. So Osho ये भी बोलते हैं akarta bhav. Come into the akarta bhav. That's a practice. You may not be established in akarta, but you can work with akarta bhav. That from now on, I'm going to see that the world is a yagna. Around me, whatever is happening is a yagna. And I am simply following the instructions of Krishna. If he tells me to go pass this message to somebody, that's what I'm following the instructions of Krishna. He's telling me, share this Bhagavad Gita commentary with whoever is interested. I'm following his instructions. I'm simply doing it. It's not for any end result or game, okay? I am simply just do whatever action you're doing as like your swaha into the yagna which Krishna has started. You have to keep doing this swaha till you drop this body. We have this lifetime which has been given to us to keep doing this swaha into the yagna that he's doing, and how you participate will then decide whether we can really come into that akarta. Par wo bhav cultivate karna is possible. If you love God, that bhav will start coming. and it will take over. So that is akarta bhav. Akarta bhav can happen if you, and it's not through practice. If you fall in love with God, akarta bhav is a natural blossoming in you. Like I was telling, no, many of us at Isha, people who bought the Devi home or they have the yantra at home, they keep talking like this. The Devi made me do this. The Devi made me do that. They don't say I do it. And really it becomes like that because she starts calling the shots. And it's funny, she will decide this for you, she will decide that, she will turn things like this, she'll turn. And most of these people, like even Suniti, she talks like that. Oh, she makes me do this, now she turned this around, now she turns that around. So there's no more such thing as I'm doing it. I simply have to keep doing whatever she's throwing at me. I just have to keep participating in that. So that is akarta. What else? Sakam karma. Sakam karma means an action which is motivated by the results, that I want to get this, so I want. And there is nothing wrong with sakam karma. Don't stop doing sakam karma. It is okay. Like Shri bhi bolte hain, Swami Sarvapriyananda bhi bolte hain, we are living in the world, we want certain things in our life. It's okay. Fulfill your desire. Sometimes, like people like who is this? I've forgotten. वो हनुमान जी के एक भक्त हैं यार, जो आते रहते हैं, स्वामी, okay, I've forgotten his name. So he also says you do this Hanuman Chalisa. तुम सकam इच्छा के साथ करना चाहते हो तो कर सकते हो. You can do it, that I will do so many rounds of chanting of Hanuman Chalisa because I want this result. So I will offer this energy for this result. It's all right. It will not take you towards liberation, but it fulfills desires. It cleans up your slate. It then creates time and space to devote to other activities. So there is nothing wrong with sakam karma. If you need it, I do it. There are times when I do it. I want some things for my children. I want some certain things to happen. Then you do it. You do certain jap. You take up a certain vow. You take up a certain fasting. You offer that energy for a certain result. It's okay. That's sakam. What is nishkam? When you are only concerned with the activity, not the fruits of action. The activity itself is important. If you can make it into lila, if you can make it into play, it really becomes nishkam. When it becomes nishkam, akarta is a natural blossoming inside you. When an action becomes nishkam, akarta blossoms inside you. Is there any other word I'm missing, Vinay?
No, I think there's the karma yoga and karma sannyas, but that was, I think you explained that. We did discuss that quite a bit. So no, good.
Karma sannyas means मैं काम नहीं करूंगा. I will not engage in action. This is karma sannyas. And this is like the monks kind of karma sannyas. This is the same as Sankhya yoga, where there's no doing. So, you just like Ramana Maharishi. It's no doing, simply sitting. That's very small karma, very little karma. Not like Arjun, who had so much karma, definite karma, dense karma. Kshatriya, for a Kshatriya, for people whose rajas is very high, they need karma yoga. Karma sannyas will not work. Their energy inside will drive them neurotic. If they try to suppress and sit down, force themselves down, it will not work. Okay. Anything else? We've covered all the terms. Everybody clear? It's okay. I think the essence is something everybody gets. I think everybody gets the essence. It's all right. Baki sab practice hai. Okay. Anybody else have anything to share? Thoughts, comments, practices, experiences? No? Okay. Then we'll close. Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Thank you very much. I will see you next Sunday, 8 p.m. How many of you prefer morning? I think my brain works better in the morning. How many of you prefer morning? I want to ask the people who are regular. No, Ratna doesn't work morning. Monica,
I like morning. Yeah,
you
morning.
will 9 a.m. Sunday. Yeah, I don't know how I'm going to do it though. 9 a.m. Sunday. I also need time to prepare, but I just wanted to check how is it with you, Shravanti? Small children doesn't work.
9 a.m. doesn't work, but if it is early, I can do it.
When will I study to
Yeah,
do it earlier
yeah.
than that?
So when I attended last session itself, I thought I would ask or message you, but I felt like you also may need time. So
Okay, fine. All right. Right now we'll continue with 8 p.m. Then we'll figure out. I just feel my brain works better in the morning than night. Okay,
Also, I think first thing in the morning, like
it's very nice.
very good.
But I need time to prepare. Then I have to put my Saturday. So constraints for me also. But I don't know if more people are okay with morning, we'll make it. We can do 10. Then I'll get up a little bit early on Sunday and do my, whatever, just a quick revision. So at least I can do. But we need people to be okay. अगर लोग ही नहीं आएंगे तो फिर क्या फायदा? If just 2 or 3 of you are okay and the rest cannot, we'll check again. We'll do a poll again and see.
Yeah, if you do a poll on WhatsApp, I think you can get that right.
Only the regular people. See, people who don't come for class, I don't even want to ask them. The people who come and who are regular, I just want to ask them.
So would you prefer to do a half an hour before, like 7:30 p.m. instead of 8 o'clock?
No, I just thought it doesn't matter. Evening is evening. I just thought morning first thing is a good thing. Evening is evening. Then it's 7, 8, 9. It doesn't matter to me. It's the same thing. All right. Okay. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a nice week
night.
ahead. Thank you. Bye bye. Good night.
Thanks,
thank
Happy.
you.
Bye.
Bye bye. Bye bye.